Have you considered that the hardest part of downsizing may not be the packing, selling, or finding another home? It may begin after the boxes have actually been unpacked. You can move into a safer, easier, and more suitable home and still feel an overwhelming sense of loss. In this video, I want to explain why that happens, how it can affect couples differently, and what you can do before moving to make the emotional adjustment easier. I'll call her Margaret. Margaret had lived in her family home for 47 years. She raised her children there. Her children knew which cupboards held the biscuits. The roses near the back door had been planted with her mother-in-law. After her husband died, the home became increasingly difficult to manage. The garden was too much. The stairs worried her children. She was only using a small part of the house. Now, eventually, Margaret moved into a lovely two-bedroom unit, close to the shops and her family. It was the sensible decision. But during the first few weeks, she cried nearly every day. Not because the new home was wrong. She was grieving everything the old home actually represented. Now, this is one of the most important things to understand about downsizing. Feeling sad after moving does not automatically mean you have made a mistake. A long-term family home becomes connected to your identity. You know how the light enters the kitchen in the morning. You know the sound of the gate closing. You remember where everyone sat at Christmas and which wall recorded the children's heights. When you leave, you are not simply changing your address. You are leaving behind familiar routines and surroundings and physical reminders of the people who shared that part of your life. That loss can feel similar to grief because, in many ways, it is grief. The danger is interpreting that sadness as evidence that the move was all wrong. Now, sometimes the new home simply hasn't had enough time to become familiar. Now, the first practical takeaway is to think about what needs to come with you emotionally, not just physically. People often make downsizing decisions based only on what will fit, but certain possessions carry a certain sense of continuity. It may be the dining table where the family gathered, a favourite chair, photographs that have always been in the hallway, a cutting from the garden, the familiar cups you use every morning. Now, you don't need to take everything, but the new home should not feel as though someone else selected every item for you. Choose a small number of things that immediately make the new place feel like yours. It may also help to photograph the old home before it has been emptied. Take photos of the rooms as you remember them, not only after the furniture is gone. Record the garden through the seasons. Write down the stories connected to particular rooms or objects. You're not trying to preserve the house exactly as it was. You're creating a bridge between the life you're leaving and the life you are beginning. Downsizing can become even harder when one partner is ready and the other one isn't. One person may see freedom, the other may see everything they are about to lose. One may be thinking about fewer stairs, reduced maintenance, and being closer to family. The other may be thinking about losing the shed, the garden, their privacy, or their role within the family. Now, that difference can quickly become an argument about property. But the argument is often not really about the property at all. It is about fear. One person is afraid of staying too long and being forced to move during a health crisis. The other is afraid that moving will make life feel smaller, less independent, and less meaningful. Pushing harder rarely resolves that fear. It often makes the reluctant person hold on more tightly. Financial uncertainty can also make those conversations more emotional. Questions such as, can we afford the new home? What money will we have left? And could this affect our pension? Can sit underneath every disagreement. We've created a free downsizing budget and cost worksheet to help couples put those questions on paper. Now, it doesn't make the decision for you, but it can separate genuine financial concerns from fears that haven't yet been discussed. You'll find the link below. Now, let's return to the conversations couples need to have. Instead of beginning with which suburb should we move to, or how many bedrooms do we need, begin with this question. What are you most worried about losing? One person might say independence. Another might say space for the grandchildren. It could be the garden, friendships, familiar neighbours, a workshop, or the ability to host Christmas. Then ask, what do you hope will become easier? Perhaps it is maintaining the garden. Maybe it is feeling safer. Maybe it's being able to walk to the shops, having money available for travel, or being closer to children and medical support. Now, these answers give you something much more useful than a list of property features. They help you understand what the next home needs to protect. For example, someone worried about losing the garden may not need a large block. They may need a sunny courtyard, space for pots and somewhere to keep a few favourite garden tools. Someone worried about losing family gatherings may not need 4 spare bedrooms. They may need a dining space large enough for everyone to sit together. Now, the aim is not to recreate the family home in a smaller building. It is to preserve the parts of life that matter the most. Another mistake is expecting the emotional benefits of downsizing to appear immediately. The practical benefits may be obvious quite quickly. There's less cleaning, the garden is easier, the shops may be closer and easier to get to. But a sense of belonging takes time. Your new neighbours don't know you yet. The rooms don't hold memories. You may still reach for a light switch that actually isn't there, or briefly forget which cupboard holds the plates. That adjustment is quite normal. Give yourself time before deciding how you feel about the move. Create new routines. Find a new local cafe. Invite the family for a meal. Plant something in the garden. Put familiar photographs where you will see them. A new property begins to feel like home through ordinary repetition. Now, downsizing should not be treated as though you are closing the door on your former life. It is a decision about how you want to live during the next stage of your life. You're allowed to miss the old home. You are allowed to feel relieved that you no longer need to maintain it. You may have difficult days even when you know the move was necessary. The goal is not to leave without sadness. The goal is to move with enough preparation, understanding and support that the sadness does not take you by surprise. Now, before you move, talk about more than the property. Talk about what each person is afraid of losing. Choose which familiar belongings and routines will come with you. And definitely be realistic about the time it may take for the new home to feel like yours. Our downsizing budget and cost workshop sheet can help remove some of the financial uncertainty that often adds pressure to these conversations. You'll find the download link below. Next, watch What Do You Do with 40 Years of Belonging? That video explains how to begin sorting your family home without becoming overwhelmed or feeling as though you are throwing your life away.